Welcome to the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club, home of the King Edward VII Gold Cup, one of the sweetest prizes in match racing. The semifinal between Germany's Markus Wieser, 4th ranked in the world, and Britain's 32nd ranked Andy Green is one of the toughest battles we've seen in a while. These two are turning yacht racing into a contact sport.
He was desperate to get towards the committee boat, and we really gave him the only option was to go towards the committee boat, and he was always trying to get to the other side of us, and in the end he kind of had a bit of an indecision, and in the end it didn't look like he made any attempt towards the course at all, and the umpires took a pretty dim view of that.
Going up the weather leg, it's Wieser's turn to raise the protest flag. He's on starboard as Green tacks.
Oh dear, we've got to half the point, I think.
We were ahead of him, so he tacked on port tack, we were on starboard tack, and then he had to bear away, but he couldn't. I don't know why, probably the match wasn't going out enough. So he hit us on our stern with his bow, and we had a big collision, and he got a penalty.
But Green fights back, upsetting Wieser and setting the stage for a bare-knuckle 5-race final against Sweden's Magnus Holmberg. The first Gold Cup was presented in 1907. In 1937, the Gold Cup became a match race. After 6 days, 16 teams have been whittled down to the final two in the King Edward VII Gold Cup presented by Colorcraft. Now, Hamilton Harbor is a unique place for sailing because it's a natural amphitheater, but there are some challenges for the skippers. The key to winning here is two things. First, you've got to get a good start so you can control the favored side of the course. The second, you've got to be able to read the wind, which changes frequently thanks to the natural topography. 16 skippers from 6 countries began this regatta. 8 made the quarterfinals. Holmberg cruised over Graham Hansen in the semis, while Wieser and Green were having a battle royale on the other side of the course. The Bermuda weather, perfect for racing. Green is in the yellow boat, which seems a little slower.
Tacking now.
Hämta speed efter slaget, dålig speed. Okej, vi slår igen. Slår vi igen. Ja, slår vi igen.
Holmberg's late. Green crosses easily.
Boost out to the right, Matt.
Green has his choice and opts for the right-hand side of the course.
We're definitely in the slower boat, okay, so we just want to boost to the right.
That's Andy Green looking for a boost to the right or favorable shift that would give him an advantage on the other tack.
Where is he?
The course windward leeward twice around, leaving the marks to starboard. The leeward, or so-called bottom mark, is slightly upwind of the start-finish line. The boats will tack downwind as well as upwind for maximum speed. The speed of the black boat is evident as Holmberg catches up.
It's just making so much bearing on us, you know, we're never going to cross the guy at some point.
I know.
We need it down here, big time.
I know we did. Okay, that'll be it. Tacking now.
Not the wind shift Green wants, but it's time. The main trimmer is behind the helmsman on these International One designs. Green got a good angle. On starboard, he's got the right-of-way. He's set up to control Holmberg.
Okay. Now. Sail. Just sail.
Holmberg protests Green for tacking too close. The umpires agree. They raise yellow, Green's color. He'll have to do a penalty turn before finishing. Strong puffs of breeze are ripping across Hamilton Harbor and knocking down the boats. Hard work for Marco Constant, Green's main trimmer, who must ease in the puffs, trim back in the lulls. Constant is the right name for this job. Being on the right side has helped Green, slow boat or not. Holmberg has the mark in his sights and tacks on the ley line. Swedish is spoken on board. Now Green tacks in front of Holmberg. Good controlling position. Green and yellow, don't forget. Spinnaker out of the bag. Whoa, in these puffy conditions, a knockdown is a penalty for a premature hoist. But Green stabilizes, gets it going, and pulls away to a big lead.
Okay, pole off, Bunky.
Green must still do a penalty turn, but it looks like he has plenty of
Start
time.
getting the kite down.
And there's the penalty turn within a boat length of the finish line.
Back the jib.
Holmberg's view as he moves in on Green. But Holmberg's too late.
Hit for the boat.
Got a jibe here. Got a jibe here, boys. Come on.
Watch the pole! So Andy Green is still rolling, taking race 1 from Magnus Holmberg. The King Edward VII Gold Cup is being presented by Colorcraft. Color Perfect. By the Bermuda Department of Tourism. And by CyberSettle, changing the way the world settles disputes. Welcome back to the King Edward VII Gold Cup presented by Colorcraft. Andy Green took the second race and leads Magnus Holmberg 2-zip in this best-of-5 final. In race 3, Green is in black, Holmberg in yellow, and it's Holmberg who takes the start in a must-win situation for this Swedish team. Good view of Green's bow behind and to leeward from Holmberg's onboard camera. Umpires and spectators scamper as Holmberg covers Green up the first leg. Green comes right back, trying to shake Holmberg's cover, and the Swedes follow. Holmberg and crew looking smooth. A look back at race 2, when more protest flags were hoisted than spinnakers. This was a luffing situation where Holmberg got the better of Green. Penalty to Green in the blue boat. But later in the race, a lightning-fast tack by Green onto starboard, coupled with slow reaction from Holmberg, and it's all even. Holmberg hangs on, thinking he can clear. And he almost does, but not quite. Green's blue penalty ball on the umpire boat is joined by a yellow flag for Holmberg. Holmberg rides the black boat to a win. Back to race 3. Andy Green in black. Green tacks under Holmberg's bow. From Green's onboard cameras, we watch Holmberg tack away. Green will follow because he's on the lay line. Holmberg leads around the mark. This time, a little less eager with the spinnaker. Result, no knockdown and better boat speed in the right direction. Things seem a little unsteady on Green's boat while Holmberg has it wired.
Vi kanske har Leyland här. Kollar du borgen också, Lasse? Inte riktigt än. Han kan vara på väg på jippar. Släng över stång.
Nice jibe by Holmberg.
Kommer vi upp lite.
Green follows suit as the boats approach the bottom mark. His crew work still seems a little rough. And then, all set to round, some real problems. Why does this always happen right in front of the race committee? This is called applying the brakes. No sailboat in the world is capable of towing several hundred square feet of spinnaker full of water, although many have tried. It's no contest. The spinnaker always wins. I've also noticed that yelling at the top of your lungs never helps solve the problem. But a full-scale screw-up can actually loosen up a crew. It's like losing a ball game by a dozen runs. May as well get all the mistakes out of the system in one race. Andy Green and crew aren't quite finished.
Well done, you got it. Set it up, monkey. Ease the sheet, ease the sheet, ease the sheet.
I'm seeing into the back.
Needless to say, Holmberg won this one.
I think we go aggressive. This boat's so much slower. It's a dog. We're really struggling now. That was the one that we needed to win. But we're going to go for it. Balls to the wall.
In 1907, King Edward VII presented the Gold Cup to the Tricentenary Regatta in Jamestown, Virginia, the oldest English settlement in America. The Royal Bermuda Yacht Club was founded in 1844. The overpowered fitted dinghies of today are the progeny of the club's earliest race boats. They behave badly, just like their ancestors. We'll be back with more of Bermuda's fitted dinghies and Race 4 of the Gold Cup after this. Bermuda wasn't settled for more than 100 years after its discovery by Spanish sailor Juan Bermudez. It took a hurricane in 1609 and the shipwreck of a British admiral named Sir George Somers to get things going. Somers stayed to rebuild his fleet and discovered the joys of this island he claimed for the crown.
This King Edward VII Gold Cup event is certainly one of the most prestigious events that we have here in Bermuda, and it really, we in government and we in the Ministry of Tourism love it because we are putting a renewed focus in our tourism promotion on water-connected sports. And in this event, we really are able to focus on yachting as a major visitor attraction in Bermuda as well. Not just a spectator sport, but yachting and yachtsmen are an important part of our tourism economy. You know, we don't want to become just another stop on the turnpike. Bermuda is a unique place with a unique people, and we're working very hard to keep it that way.
Among Bermuda's unique aspects are the fitted dinghies. Each of Bermuda's 6 yacht clubs owns one of these outrageous boats. After drawing for sides of the course, they match race from a standing start. Under the rules, they must stay on their own side of the course unless one gets far enough ahead to cross safely. Maneuvering these top-heavy boats is perilous. Here's Blue making attack. They're very low to the water. Each has a designated bailer. Yellow with a couple boat length lead over Blue. Now they don't go upwind that well. Flying downwind is their specialty. Around the mark they go. Any change in direction is dicey. This is a dangerous moment. Now you guessed it, more sail. Spinnakers, with the crew balanced on the edge the whole time, and it's a great race. There's the bailer at work. Notice how the spinnakers are trimmed on one side only, like a jib. Whoa! A near miss as they almost roll over to leeward, dragging the boom in the water. Time to lighten ship. Don't need those beefy guys on the downwind leg. Oh no! Losing a sheet so close to the finish. Blue surges to victory. On the Gold Cup course, the boats circle in the pre-start like boxers. After losing the first 2 to Britain's Andy Green, Sweden's Magnus Holmberg has come back to tie the series at 2. We'll have Race 5, the cliffhanger, in a moment. After winning the King Edward VII Trophy, American sailor Sherman Hoyt proposed awarding it for a match race between Bermuda and the United States. The first Gold Cup was held in 1937. Welcome back to the 51st King Edward VII Gold Cup in Hamilton, Bermuda, an international trophy since 1985. This is it, Race 5, no tomorrow, winner takes all. A good even start, but Green has the left side in his pocket, and that's been paying off much of the day. Not much of a lead, but the trailing boat is getting a dose of bad air. Holmberg can't live here. He tacks away to the right, just what Green wants.
Yeah, tacking out.
Nice loose cover by Green. Here's a look at how Holmberg won race 4 and tied the series. Green and yellow enters the starting area on poor tack. Holmberg comes up suddenly, catching Green off guard. Green doesn't turn away fast enough and fouls Holmberg.
Flag that! Flag that! Zubin. Flag it, Bonky.
Holmberg protests and the umpires fly Green's color.
You are kidding.
No kidding, Andy. Take one penalty turn. It got worse. At the start, Holmberg's timing is perfect. Bluffing head to win, Holmberg closes the door at the windward end. Green manages to slip through the gap as Holmberg falls off to cross the line, but Holmberg's faster and he controls the left side. Race to Holmberg, even without the penalty. Back to race 5. Holmberg controls the first cross. In fact, he hunts Green as the latter dips under him, going right at him on starboard. But Green escapes with good speed as Holmberg covers. There's a protest from Green, but the umps rule no foul with the green flag. Too many greens here. One of those nasty quick tacks to starboard by Green. Nice anticipation by Holmberg. He dips Green's stern, but barely. Green comes back. What a duel. Match racing at its best. Both crews being fully tested as the skippers go at it like pit bulls. There's a quick tack from Holmberg, and Green is helpless. There'll be a protest here. Looked like Holmberg tacked too close. Green had no chance. The burdened boat must be left an escape route. No, green flag. Race on. Green is on the ley line, but Holmberg on starboard goes hunting once again. Green dives out of the way. Holmberg has to be careful. He can't abuse his right-of-way privileges. Green is back up. Can he still make the mark? Holmberg stays close, tacks to cover. Andy Green goes right back at him. Unbelievable. Holmberg tries to squeak past. At the last minute, he drives his boat into the wind to escape Green's bow and makes it. Another green flag. The umpire is trying not to decide the outcome. Green with good momentum luffs to round the mark, taking Holmberg up with him. Protest. Green flag. Green hangs in there, rounding inside, so close to the mark. A remarkable windward leg. Both boats set spinnakers with the advantage to Green as he lets the sail fill and spin him toward the bottom mark. Holmberg can only follow as both crews struggle to get the light sails working. Green's crew is settled down, but the spinnaker behaves badly in these puffy conditions. Holmberg, right behind, is having better luck and gains in the puff as the two boats are overlapped. Big knockdowns. The puffs strike just as the crews prepare to douse sails before rounding the bottom mark. As they set up to round, Holmberg's crew loses control of the mainsail. The boom flies out, striking Green's boat. Now the jibes and heavy trimming as the boats go back on the wind. But it's bad news for Holmberg. He's flagged for not keeping clear his windward boat. Back up the windward leg they go with Holmberg on the left, but Green has control. Holmberg tacks. He'll have to dip Green. And Green covers, no surprise. The dogfight continues. But Green's cover is too tight. Holmberg is leeward boat luffs, and Green has no room to respond. Holmberg uses his slight speed advantage to nail his rival. Neither boat has missed a chance to attack. Holmberg protests Green. And the umpires agree. Penalty to Green. They're all even now. The two boats split, finally, as they prepare for the downwind leg to the finish. Briggs Cunningham, who won the America's Cup in 1958, won the Gold Cup in 1937. Russell Coots, winner of the America's Cup in 1995, has won the Gold Cup 5 times. We'll be back with the conclusion of race 5. ESPN's coverage of the King Edward VII Gold Cup is presented by Colorcraft, Color Perfect, by the Bermuda Department of Tourism, and by CyberSettle, changing the way the world settles disputes. Back to the deciding 5th race in the 1999 Gold Cup between Sweden's Magnus Holmberg in the black boat and Britain's Andy Green in yellow. Holmberg passes Green and rounds first. But no, what a time for a shackle failure. Holmberg's chute falls into the water. His crew scrambles, grabbing for the jib halyard to get the sail back up there before Green passes. Green closes in on his crippled prey. He jibes onto starboard with the right of way, passing to windward and stealing Holmberg's win. Holmberg jibes late. Green raises the protest flag, and Green spins out as he's hit by a strong puff of wind. Holmberg having trouble getting his spinnaker to fill as Green surges again. What a race. Penalty to Holmberg for jibing too late to avoid a port starboard situation. Green has slipped past Holmberg outside, but with a penalty turn to do, Holmberg can only hope to force Green into a foul. Andy Green in yellow must stay clear of Holmberg, who will try anything at this point as they head for the finish. Green smartly drops his spinnaker for better control in case Holmberg tries something. Holmberg, positioned between Green and the finish line, sails Green past the line, but he gets too close. As overtaking boat with no rights to left, Holmberg gets another penalty. It's all over. The two boats sail back to the finish. Andy Green goes for the gun and victory in the 51st Bermuda Gold Cup. A big win for a young man who came in ranked 32nd in match racing. Green had his ups and downs, but throughout the regatta he kept his cool. He knew a win here could help put him on the map. He refused to get rattled and just kept battling back. He's already thinking ahead. Green takes home $20,000, enough to buy one America's Cup spinnaker. Holmberg second with Marcus Wieser third.
The boys were great. We had an awesome time. You know, it took us a while to get our stuff together, but you know, in the end, we had it where it counted. We thought we had the slower boat for the second 2 races, so that final race was a must-win. You know, and he just fouled it. We had God knows how many penalties in that last race, but it was hammer and tongs all the way. I feel fantastic. The boys were great, and you know, we won the Gold Cup. Awesome.
In the new world rankings, Sten Moore of Denmark and Marcus Wieser of Germany move up because they place very well in the World Championships. Andy Green makes a huge leap from 32nd to 16th thanks to his Gold Cup win here in Bermuda. The closing ceremonies are well attended, and they're infused with the regal flair Bermuda always provides.
It's with great pleasure on his behalf that I present the Wedgwood Heritage Trophy. This year, the winner is Marcus Wieser. Second place, with a check for $12,000, Magnus Holmberg.
And to winner Andy Green, the big, coveted Gold Cup. Andy Green, a young man to watch.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but boy was it exciting, huh? I'd like to thank my boys first, Bonky, Jim and Marco, who've been fantastic.
This program is brought to you by ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.